Well, welcome to Transition Tales. And we're going to be offering a short transition tale each Tuesday here on Facebook. And they're designed to tie in with the Sunday talk, which you can access on our YouTube channel. Well, our first transition is called From Here to There. And we're going to be looking this week at there. So the question is, if we're transitioning from here to there, where is there? Well, let me tell you, you never really know until you're there. We've moved house a number of times, and you have the brochure, you visit it a few times, you talk about it, you plan, you imagine what it's going to be like, but you never really know what it's going to be like until you're actually there. Similarly with a new job, you can have a job description, you can ask questions at interview, but until you've started and been there a few weeks, you don't really know what there is like. Now, one of my worst experiences with a new job was getting a position in IT in the late 90s as a Midlands consultant and being told that a lot of my work would actually be at the local council. That was great. However, when I started a few weeks later, the contract the company thought they were going to get, well, they'd come second in the process, which meant that though some of my work ended up in the Midlands, which had been an important reason in my moving to this company, I was also working in Aberdeen and Worthing. And let me tell you, as an ex-geography teacher, that is certainly not the Midlands. You see, there was very different to what I had imagined it to be. And this year, we're all imagining what there will look like. A there where we can get out and about, meet people, hug people, and enjoy ourselves in ways which are denied to us at the present. But we don't know when this will happen, and it is likely that there will not be exactly as we imagine it to be, and probably not as soon as we'd like it to happen. So what do we do? Well, here's a couple of things. First of all, we thank God for hope. The hope that things will improve and that lockdown and restrictions will end. You see, hope gives us something to look forward to. That there is better than here. And the second is that we learn to live in the present, not in what we hope will happen. We're going to see in the next few weeks in our series on Joshua how God's people discovered what there, the promised land, meant, what it looked like, what it was going to be to live there. But actually for them, being there was not going to be the most important thing. Earlier in the story, in the book of Exodus, Moses had been having some issues with the Israelites. Now, it was a recurring theme, and you can read it for yourself in Exodus chapter 33. And God had seemed to indicate that the people should carry on with their journey to the promised land, but that he would not be with them. And Moses, well, he's mortified. And this is his response and his plea to God on behalf of the people he had been called to lead. If your presence doesn't go with us, do not send us out from here. How will anyone know that you're pleased with me and with your people unless you go with us? And what else will distinguish me and your people from all the other people on the face of the earth? You see, what was important was not whether or not they made it from here to there, the promised land. You see, it would mean nothing if God was not with them. And for Moses, both here and there, they were meaningless unless they were experiencing God's presence with them. They were God's people, not because of the promise of a land, a there that was better than here, but because they knew God's presence. And without it, they were just another part of humanity journeying from here to there. You see, they wouldn't discover God's presence when they arrived and got to there, the promised land. God's presence was to be experienced as they journeyed from here to there. They were to bring God's presence with them into there rather than discover it there. And you know, we too need to know God's presence as we journey, as we transition. It's not waiting for us in a future time or location, a better place over there. Of course, there does sound better in terms of being able to meet up as friends, family and church. But we don't have to wait until then, until we get there, to know God's love for us each day and his fresh grace and goodness. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness.